And now we'll move forward for our next fireside chat on CTV advertising, the Big Bang Firecracker this festive season. So I would like to welcome on stage Mr. Nikhil Kumar, the Vice President India and SEA Media Smart, in conversation with Mr. Anil N.M. Manwari, who is the founder, CEO, and editor-in-chief of IndianTelevision.com Group. Can we please join our hands together for both of them, please?
Being insane. We are going through insane times, VUCA times, lots of VUCA happening. But you've been having a great time, Nikhil. I love his moustache. How many of you love his moustache, the way he twirls it upwards? Let's have a show of hands. I love his moustache, really. Great. Fantastic.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So, you've had a great time, doing the work you've been doing. You've been seen as a pioneer in the area of CTV. When I asked somebody what is CTV, they said color TV. I said, yaar, wo to 82 mein aa gaya. Now it's connected TVs. So, tell us a little bit about the good time you've been having over the past year, pushing this segment.
Oh, thank you, and all the people who took the effort to raise their hands. Appreciation outside work is always appreciated.
Yeah.
But I think when somebody said color television, he wasn't wrong. I mean, 90% of the televisions sold in Q2 of 2022 were all smart. That makes me wonder what the 10% were. Technically, I don't remember the last time, I don't know, any of us saw a box TV. So must be exciting what that 10% is. But clearly, I think connected TV has been turning heads. We have been one of those brands who has taken pride in understanding that trend, I think, and being one of those tech platforms which builds on the trend versus capitalizing on the trend. And I think we built products. We supported that trend of media, a media outlet to be supported with building tech, which supports not just the connected TV part of it, but connecting that journey of the user from TV to mobile. And I think that's what has given us a unique proposition, at least till now. The industry has evolved, clearly, Anil. I remember you and me doing this a year and a half back on screen. And one of the first, I think, media houses to actually step into the whole connected TV. We've always been known for that, Anil. So I think from then to now, you can see how that entire ecosystem, even within India or Asia, has taken a complete U-turn versus how we were predicting it last year when we spoke. And it is one of the most bespoke things. I think if you are in media or in digital or in ad tech or in martech or in mad tech, you are talking connected TV, right? Because it is a line item, very important for your media planning. Today, it's a reach medium for a very specific set of users which you thought were not reachable. Suddenly, for the first time, for most of us who have been doing traditional advertising, and we always believe TV is the big impact medium, and eventually thought the only way to realize what happened from TV is doing a post-mortem next month on our overall market share or share of voice increasing, what happened, could actually be done immediately with digital. So I think it's clearly been exciting times, and I think it's just the start actually for Asia and actually for India as well. Globally, it's one of the largest things. I think I was reading a report that CTV share of impressions has crossed the mobile share of impressions in US. I imagine saying that in a meeting room like this, and it will surely turn heads. Are you saying that the share?
I think they'll probably run for the door.
Yeah, they will run for the door, but that is the statistics, guys. I think it's clearly something which is understandably as well, because I think 90% of all households in US can be served ads programmatically. 3 out of 4 are connected TVs. Having 3 TVs itself is a big thing. All of them being connected via the ecosystem of serving ads is phenomenal. Connected TV advertising itself is also evolving. We all know of this case study on Super Bowl where somebody just went there in the most expensive spot in the world and put a barcode for 15 seconds. You know, the audacity of it, and it became the most bespoke advertising ever done on connected TV, breaking the internet and breaking, obviously, his site, which had to be done. So clearly there is a lot of things happening, Anil, and I think we are all part of this revolution. I think some of us sitting in this room, I think we are all lucky to see the first mobile, the laptop, the Steve Jobs era, the Apple, the Motorola's, the connected TVs. Now we saw the OTT era, now translating into the big screen, now translating into other things that can be done from the big screen in advertising to other mediums. It's just amazing to be born.
Yeah, and you've done some pioneering work which has got a lot of recognition last year. Tell us a little bit about the work that you've been doing which has got you the accolades.
Like Thank you. I mean, kind words, Anil, coming from you. But I think, like I said, that we always believe that connected TV will be a platform of recognition. And a lot of the times, people understood connected TV and wanted to correlate, as we always say, what is the incremental reach. I think the first part went into educating that this itself is a new reach medium. So if you look at a connected TV user, he is predominantly a guy probably has DTH and puts a Wi-Fi on his smart TV and uses consumption, or probably has been a cord cutter who was disconnected from being a DTH user and now only available on the connected TV. Or even more, a very interesting category which is not even being tracked, because every time we talk about connected TV increase, we talked about DTH decline. But what we don't understand or probably don't fathom is there is a category called cord nevers, which is the new age people who never actually even put a DTH connection. So how can they contribute to a decline of DTH? They bought a TV, they connected it to the Wi-Fi ecosystem and started using immediately the television as a connected TV. I think when we recognize this trend, we as an ecosystem, we as a group, Apple, our thought has been being a part of multiple stages of the consumer journey, from exposure to actual intent, purchase behavior, to purchase, and probably even then remarketing, owning the LTV. And Apple has, over the years, made investments across multiple dimensions or partnering with companies or acquisitions which have done that. And MediaSmart actually built a tech which says when you expose a user to an ad on TV, eventually any advertising that you do is supposed to draw an outcome. It could come after a period of time, basis how you look at data, or what if you could make it immediate is what digital is all about. And that's the tech we built. We built a tech called CTV Household Sync. What it predominantly does, and to answer your question, why have we been winning those accolades, is because we built a tech where an exposure to an ad can actually be tracked to an engagement on mobile, which probably can even be further tracked into a purchase, further tracked into an exposure. And when you apply this thought process across verticals, suddenly you have an answer. You showed an ad of an auto car, of BMW, you could drive a test drive. You showed an ad of a sunscreen, you could actually make that user purchase it. You actually showed an ad of an OTT, you could actually make him install it. You could actually, for the first time, what happens when the user sees an ad on TV? You could actually have an answer to it. And when answers started getting connected with advertising, I think the glory came automatically. And I think that's what we are very proud of. I think we work across verticals, we work across brands, we work across multiplicity of our partners who we call our agencies. And we have sort of been excited to see where this will be leading to next. Now that we have connected the dots from TV to mobile, could we connect it to a retail store? Could we track that? Because clearly the tech exists. So that's been the journey.
Great. So, what are the challenges that connected TV is facing today in terms of as a medium, and how are we going about correcting? It's from the agency side, it's from the platform side. Everywhere there are challenges. So, and how are you getting around those challenges?
I think what's the challenge is also an opportunity, right? It's just the way you look at the glass half full or half empty. And I think I'll be naive to say if there have not been challenges. I think one of the challenges is what is a connected TV and what is the reach that it's giving me? Hey, I am already doing TV. Hey, my user, I am already reaching. And I think it's the traditional thought process of offline to translate that spend of offline into the screen still online. I think that's been an education which has been ongoing and will continue to grow. The other challenge has also been in educating OTT is not equal to CTV. Oh, I spent on X OTT, I spent on Y OTT, so I am already covered on CTV. No, you probably spent on OTT and that's just mobile. What you need to understand is CTV is a medium where OTT can be a subset of it. There could be live news, there could be gaming, there could be so much more. In fact, gaming is one of the largest spending categories on connected TV globally. In fact, one of the reports just stated that gaming is really taking over the whole connected TV space. And people say, what do you mean by gaming on connected TV? Look at your remote. It's an intuitive remote. It's got a cursor nowadays. You can just move around left, right. You can give it to your kid. He can start playing these funny games. And I think the education on the, stereotyping a certain medium to a certain spend is where I think the challenge has been, and I think it's evolution. It's just evolution, and I think people are realizing, hey, you know what, we could do so much more on connected TV. I think that's challenge number 2 or opportunity number 2, and I think 3, it's also been really defining, you know, what is the CTV reach in India, right? And I think uh, I always trust because I understand as a programmatic platform and with the neutrality that we have no bias towards any particular platform. We are a setup, we are a tech platform, and when we see active bids, we also understand through some of the researches that we're doing, we're going to release one of our CTV 2.0 India report, which is quite popular from last year when we did it first time, the first ones to do it in India. We're also seeing that clearly OTT is the maximum amount of time spent. So when our partners across OTTs give us a certain kind of reach number, or when we see it on our platform across active bid requests, we believe that number to be true. But there are obviously multiple numbers that we keep hearing. There is a OEM play to it. There is a OTT play to it. There is a programmatic platforms play to it. What is the reach? So that's challenge number 3 in really defining that. And probably challenge number 4, but not so much of a challenge, is, you know, unifying and making the thought process of understanding that the more and more walled garden approach that we create, the more and more problems we create for our partners at agencies or probably partners at advertising, because then they have to deal with multiple ecosystems, multiple at the cost of the consumer. When we don't talk about unified reach, when you don't talk about really exposing the user to a ad 3 times, you end up dealing with 4 partners exposing the same user to 12 ads at a frequency cap of 3. Suddenly, instead of building a likelihood for your brand, you've built a fatigue, which probably goes against the brand. So
Not just fatigue, irritation.
well, I have to use the right words. We are on stage.
Okay. So, you know, while you said there are opportunities, is there enough of evangelization going on? Is there enough of understanding coming in? Or is the gap, let's say, is it 40% or 30%, or is the gap 90%?
No, I think we are a country of we are a country within many countries, right? There is a Bharat, there is an India. We always have that, and there are always interesting ways to how bring anecdotal experiences or past ways of doing into the new way. Obviously, if the traditional brands were so big, how would we? In fact, in the previous panel, you know, most of the panelists talked about some new age brands. You ask them what is the most bespoke brand that you know. I heard somebody said Zomato, somebody said Bombay Shaving Company,
Bombay Shirt Company.
Bombay Shirt Company,
And
Bombay
Mama-
Shaving too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, Bombay Shaving is great.
yeah, and all of these brands, if
Yeah.
you look at it, they are not traditional. They are the challenger brands. They are the new age brands. So I think we are going through a evolution where there is going to be a traditional mindset which believes TV, print, outdoor is the way to go. Which is almost going into the way, oh, what should I be spending my digital? And then I think what happened to us was unpredictable. I think COVID played catalyst to the digital revolution for many companies and many brands. Suddenly you realize you don't survive if you don't know digital suddenly, right? Most businesses cease to exist. Most people's role diminished importance over a period of time in 2 years where you can't go out, you can't see anything, you pretty much sit at home. Your business thrives on understanding digital, and I think which is where connected TV is going through that era as well. People are understanding, people are realizing, people are clearly understanding the importance, and it's just the gradual way things are going to increase. In the advertising ecosystem is going to grow by 15.3%. I mean, we are happy when CTV monetization growth happens by 150 or to 200. It is clearly growing by that percentage.
So some of the successful campaigns that you are undertaking and some of your learnings from those campaigns, I'd love to hear that, and so will the audience.
No, thank you. I mean, I think MMA was very good for us. You mentioned it at the beginning when we started chatting. We were probably the most awarded platform, and all thanks to our connected TV campaigns. I think while we did win a couple of them for proximity footfall, but I think all was pretty much CTV, and I think it was across brands like Spotify. It was with brands like Discovery Plus. It was with brands like Lotus. Now, I've said 3 brands in such 3 different buckets, right? One, a brand which is traditional. It's Lotus Herbals, you know. It's a traditional brand which predominantly we all buy, but probably we don't say. It's one of the largest sunscreen brands in the country. Clearly, it's a bespoke brand when it comes to any kind of sunscreen buying category. When they wanted to work with us, they had brought a new celebrity endorser called Jacqueline Fernandez. We all know who she is, no introduction. And they wanted to do more while they were doing the traditional, and their whole hat was traditional. We want to do all big things, but they also had a mindset of, how do we create a distinction for the campaign that we are doing? We have a new age ambassadors. How do we bring connected TV into this whole thing? And what really happened for them was actually mind changing for them as well, because when we showed them the tech that you just don't need to do exposures, you just need to do a 30-second TVC and then figure out on God's mercy what happened the next month. What if I could give you an option of running that 30-second TVC and then actually capturing user intent in the next 1 hour or the next 24 hours? It could be even bad intent. It could be just saying that I exposed the user to the TV ad, and when I re-nudged him on mobile, he actually didn't click at all, which could also be a reaction, by the way. But the reaction was positive. They had click-throughs, and which is what we also say about connected TV household sync, is that I say this like as a tagline, jab in daamon mein ye mile to wo kyun lein Sudha ji. If you remember this ad from Surf, that why run TV campaign ads for great completion rates when you can run ads on TV for great completion rates and a click-through understanding of the user intent, and then probably even purchase. So I think whether it was Spotify driving app downloads, whether it was Discovery driving content consumption and app downloads, or Lotus or Discovery, they were all a part of the success for them, was a part of what happened and answering that question well. And I think that's the sweet answer that probably I'll park.
But when I look at it, the mindset of creatives is clearly towards one-way ads, not the two-way ads. We have a product called Megaphone TV, which we've been licensing to Star Sports. It's called Fan Pulse. It comes on IP. It was used during Cricket Live on IPL. Plus now the World Cup is coming up, and it's going to be used during the World Cup, especially during the pre-match segment, mid-match segment, and post-match segment. But their understanding is there are lots of branding opportunities available there on Fan Pulse for Star Sports. But getting the media agency to understand that you can actually, sort of incentivize a purchase. You can get the viewer at home to do what you want him to do through the interactivity that Fan Pulse offers. It's been challenging for agencies to understand that and brands to understand it, because they're so happy seeing their commercials. They are, oh boy, my commercial came on IPL. My commercial it's coming on the World Cup. And, because they're targeting the retailer, the distributor, they're not so bothered about, so how is that barrier going to be overcome?
No, it's a very valid question. I think when we look at CTV advertising as well, we look at traditional ads coming to us. In fact, I was talking to Amit just like 10 minutes back on his category. And I'll take you back and I'll do free branding for one of the friends called Shabang Harshal, erstwhile Foxy. Then, I'll take you back to 2011. I used to work with L'Oreal, and obviously digital was becoming like a thing. And there were obviously large agencies which wanted to educate us on digital, and there were traditional guys who wanted to educate. But then there is a bunch of these young 22-year-olds who are all the time on Facebook, who are all the time on Instagram, who are all the time on all these young social handles, and realized who best or better to actually educate on social, on how to manage social, than the young guys themselves. And I think that's what's going to happen eventually, Anil, right? I think it's a function of evolution and people realizing the potential of a particular channel. I agree, when it comes to advertising, we build things for the large screen. Even if you look at mobile today, half of your ads that even when you get served ads, you see a horizontal ad. Nobody is creating vertical ads. Well, you understand that it's counterintuitive to actually see an ad like this and hold your mobile. You will never do it. But we still make ads for the larger appeal of the television. We all believe, agar mera ad TV pe aa gaya, I have arrived. Right? We still live with that. But that's one side of the ecosystem. But there is brands and there are enough stories that have been built on just great mobile advertising. iPhone did an entire campaign, if you saw, globally, saying shoot stuff on mobile. Make vertical videos. Influencers have made a living today. There's a line item called influencer marketing strategy. We suddenly realize, hey man, whatever we do, we can get the best celebrity endorser to talk about our ad, but then we need 300 other influencers talking on a vertical screen, on a vertical mobile, talking that thing. So I think connected TV is also going to evolve. I think there is going to be a thought process which is going to come very strongly that, hey man, are we doing a connected TV ad? How do we connect it to something exciting like a QR code? Hey man, we have a 20-second edit. Make sure that you put a 5-second at the end as a tag on of QR. Let's see what happens, right? Hey man, I'm doing an ad on connected TV. Let's not do an ad at all. Let's just put like a messaging with a QR. Immediate prompt action. And today we have 10-minute deliveries, right? I mean, prompt action, open the app, 10-minute, the biscuit is in your hand. We're living in an era of that, right? Why do you do advertising? I want to put a Domino's ad because I want people to order pizzas. What if the pizza could be ordered just right there? You saw it, you just scanned it, the app opened, you ordered the pizza. Wow, great experience. And I think advertising, traditional or new age, digital or offline, are all going to move into an ecosystem which is going to be connected to some sort of connectivity, like
Some fulfillment, some
fulfillment, right? I mean, you
some
and me.
call to action.
Today we have outside such beautiful standees. Some of them are the traditional ones, which we come from the era, the flex. Some of them are beautifully digital led. I mean, the click of a button, somebody pays more, his ad will be there. So I think we live in an era which is moving too fast, and I think we just got to catch up. And I think brands will catch up.
So CTV versus MTV at mobile advertising. I'll call it MAV.
This is new, guys. CTV versus MTV. This is Anil. did it.
Mobile TV advertising. Call it. Where do you see that picking up this year? Especially, is there enough? The numbers, numbers vary. Of CTV is 14 million. I've heard figures of 25 million. I've heard figures of 30 million. If all the TV sets being bought are smart TVs, then the numbers should go up drastically compared to what is being talked about. You yourself say it's 14 million, right? Yeah. And what are you going to forecast in the coming report?
We're obviously forecasting for 2023-24 combined. We say 2025, we're going to be at 45 to 50 million. That's what we say. But these are things which are very difficult to predict. And I think as internet penetration grows, and people don't know, I mean, obviously we got population on our side, but we are the second most app downloading country in the world. Put that as a statistic to somebody and say, like, what? You're India, don't you have camels and elephants? No, we don't. I mean, we are one of the largest internet penetrated countries in the world. Thanks to the Geo revolution. Everybody has internet. It's roti, kapda, makan and internet. TV is no longer a thing of SECA, NCCSA. No. Everybody has a TV. The TV is accessible at $200, which is basically 15,000 rupees. Not just accessible at that price point, also accessible at a click. I clicked on a button on Flipkart, the TV got delivered, installed in my house tomorrow. So, what is going to sort of prosper this growth are simply things, which is internet penetration. We have a phenomenal speed, 5G revolution, we are all talking about it. India Mobile Congress, everybody saw what's coming in, 5G is going to be a thing now. Wi-Fi's base in the country has increased by 9 million in just the last 9 to 10 months. It's huge, right? I mean, today you don't consider your Wi-Fi connection at your home as a cost, because if you survived COVID and if you were working, clearly you must have had Wi-Fi. So you are looking at things differently, and the cost of cheaper TVs, the cost of accessibility to get those TVs, the cost of internet, penetration of internet, and just the sheer evolution of the user declining on content. Now, there is a very interesting thing that we talked about that we didn't sort of discuss is broadcast versus CTV. What is that? Are you an audience which is programmed to sit and watch when the channel tells you at 9:30 watch Big Boss? Or are you going to say, dude, I'm going to watch it when I have the time to watch it?
Or when I want to watch it.
Yeah.
Not just the time.
So, or when I want to watch it. Yeah. And which is where I think the whole shift and the migration is saying, if I can do something at my behest, why let somebody dictate that time for me? And I think this is what is driving the evolution.
So you didn't answer my question. I said, this festival season, is it going to be broadcast, television? Is it going to be mobile consumption? Or is it going to be CTVs?
Clearly, broadcast in terms of revenues and money is huge. There is not even a discussion. 4 years down the line, when we have this conversation with any big media house or any large TV network, they're going to tell you maybe differently. But TV, followed by mobile. Mobile, we are a 700 million internet penetrated country. We are talking about 15 million connected TVs, clearly. So it's just by the virtue of numbers that in that order, which is broadcast, big, huge, large monies, followed by mobile and followed by connected TV. But the conversations that you will hear on connected TV in that order will be connected TV. What are we doing on mobile? What are we doing on broadcast, which will continue.
I just hope I can get something going with Star Sports and the Fan Pulse so that
Sure
there's
hope so.
more conversation around traditional TV, OTT, and connected TVs, all three. So that
Sure hope
there's
so.
some excitement. And any last words, because I've been seeing that warning sign over there, time's up. Before I have Namita coming and whacking me on my head and saying, get off the stage, and you also getting
I think thank you for having me in this panel and Fireside. Anil, it's always great. And I think everybody who is in the digital and media landscape, if you're not on the CTV bandwagon, today can be a starting day. I mean, when are you late? We're around, catch up with us.
He's a great salesman for this connected TV universe. A big round of applause for him. Thank you very much for chatting with me, and I hope you all found this conversation useful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.